Hey guys, welcome back. Are you just gonna be right here the whole time? I'm super excited about today's video where I'm going to be talking all about zero waste period products. So obviously this video is going to get pretty personal and a little bit nitty gritty, but I hope that it will be helpful for you guys if you're in the transition trying to find some more sustainable, zero waste, non-toxic options for your period. So before I share my favorite zero waste products, I wanted to share why this is so important to me and why I decided to personally make this swap. So the very first reason I decided to switch to zero waste period products is because obviously conventional period products, tampons and pads, are used for just a few hours and then they're discarded, thrown in the garbage, and then they end up in a landfill where they will live for decades or hundreds of years. And it just didn't sit right with me knowing how much waste I was producing. So I figured I could at least try another option, and I ended up falling in love with the other options. I love them so much more than using tampons and pads. And of course, when you make this swap, you do have to invest some money up front, so it might feel more expensive at the beginning, but you're gonna end up spending a lump of money at the beginning and then you won't have to buy period products for years. These products are all meant to last years and years and years, and in the long run you will save hundreds of dollars. And then the other reason that I chose to make this swap is because when I learned all about tampons and pads and the ingredients that are used to make those, I did not want those things in my body anymore. They're going to be made from either cotton or rayon, but both of those products are going to be bleached, and cotton is actually a crop that is really heavily sprayed with glyphosate, which is a herbicide that is proven to be carcinogenic to humans. So again, that's just not something that I felt like I wanted to be inserted into my body. Pads and tampons also include plastics and phthalates. These are basically what make them retain blood and do what they do. Phthalates are known to be an endocrine disruptor, which means that they can absolutely impair or damage your fertility. Again, this is just not something that I'm willing to risk when the swap is so easy. And then pads and tampons also often include fragrance. I've definitely seen boxes that say like lavender scent, but even ones that don't say that, often fragrance is an ingredient and they use that as a way to combat the odors that come with periods, which I know that that sounds like a good thing, but the problem is that fragrance is an umbrella term that companies are allowed to legally use, and it gives them a loophole so that they don't have to disclose all of the ingredients they're using. So the term fragrance can actually include hundreds, if not thousands, of chemicals that are not properly safety tested, and the company does not have to disclose those to you because the US government or the Canadian government has deemed that as proprietary and it's allowed to be a trade secret. So I avoid fragrance in absolutely every area of my life, and this is no different. And I've also heard that switching over to non-toxic zero waste products can actually help your periods because you're not filling your body with synthetic chemicals that are actually making your period symptoms worse. Thankfully, I don't have super bad periods to start with, so I didn't really experience this, but I have lots of friends who have noticed a big difference in their PMS symptoms since making the switch. Okay, so that was all the information about why I made the switch, so now I wanted to share with you some of my favorite products as well as a couple products that I've tried that I didn't love as much. So the first product is these period underwear from LILOVA, and this brand actually reached out to me and they asked me if they could send me a pair of these underwear in exchange for an honest review. So that's what I'm doing today. And I just want you guys to know that I will never promote anything that I don't love, and I always make sure to try things before I tell you about them. So that's super important to me. But these were gifted to me and I have had the opportunity to use them for a few months because I really wanted to have my own personal experience with them. So these are the newest addition to my zero waste period routine, and I'm really happy with them. I feel like I need to stop playing with them. But they are super comfortable and they're actually so much cuter than I was really expecting them to be. I got the Maya hipster version and I would say that the sizing is completely true to size, and these are honestly really comfortable to wear. I really enjoy them. They do have several different styles, including some higher waist ones and a thong version, so there are lots of different styles depending on what you like, and then they also carry them in a few different colors. So on the first 1 or 2 days of my period, that's when my flow tends to be the heaviest, which I think is normal for most people. So during that day or two, I would use my period underwear in conjunction with a menstrual cup, which I'll get to in a minute. But for the rest of the days, I felt so comfortable just wearing the period underwear by themselves. So basically they have a 4-layer technology, but they're not super thick. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a diaper, which I have experienced with other products. So their website claims that these will hold up to 2 tampons worth of blood, which is super cool. And I will say that if you want to wear these on your heaviest flow days, you can do that. You would just need to switch them out after a few hours, just like you would with a pad or a tampon. But they absolutely do work. They don't leak. I love wearing them at night, and I did get ones that had pretty good coverage specifically so that I could wear them overnight. And then basically when you're done wearing them and you want to take them off, you just want to take it off and rinse it out with cold water, and that helps to avoid any staining, which isn't as important with the black. I got the black on purpose just because it eliminates staining altogether. If you got the lighter beige color, you want to rinse it out with cold water first, and then you can just throw it in your laundry hamper and wash it a day or two later with another load of laundry. You always want to wash them in cold water, and then you always want to just let them hang dry. But they're super easy to take care of. I washed mine several times and they're in totally perfect condition. And then another cool thing is that these can totally be used in postpartum days. Maybe not in the immediate days following having a baby, but these would be such a good option for a new mom to wear a couple weeks after having a baby. The only thing that I would change about the LILOVA period panties is that I would love to see their products made from organic materials, but they do pass the European safety standards, which are much higher than the US or Canada standards, so I am pretty happy with that. Okay, and then like I mentioned previously, I've also used a menstrual cup, so I figured I would share a little bit about that as well. So I love the brand Salt for my menstrual cups. I have tried another brand from Amazon. I don't remember what the brand was. It was a smaller brand, and I didn't mind them, but I like this brand so much more. The quality is incredible, and I just love the brand itself. So their mission is basically to equip women around the world with both the knowledge and the materials they need to have healthy periods. So if you didn't know, in a lot of really poor countries around the world, girls or women really aren't allowed in public. They're not allowed to go to school when they're on their periods, which is so sad because a lot of times they just end up dropping out of school, and it's just because they don't know how to properly take care of themselves during that time. So Salt has made it their mission to not only donate the materials, but also teach these girls about their cycles. And then their cups are latex free, BPA free, and free from all other toxic materials. They're made from silicone, which is a really safe alternative material. Okay, and then as you can see, I have 2 different sizes. This is their regular size and this is the small size. I do use both of these. I tend to use the smaller one more often, but they have a whole section on their website that explains which one would be right for you depending on how heavy your flows are, or if you've had a baby, or if you've never had a baby. So if you're wondering which size you need, you can go in there. And they also recently released a softer cup, which also comes in the 2 different sizes, but it's a softer material. And honestly, these are really soft to start with. They're much softer than the other one that I've used. And they're definitely way softer than like the Diva cup, but their newer one is even softer. So if you've tried one maybe and it was irritating, that might be a good option for you. So in terms of how often you need to switch this, I only empty mine like once or twice a day. Typically I empty it first thing in the morning, and then I empty it right before I go to bed. And honestly, I could go way longer. I could easily go 24 hours without emptying it. It's never even near being full, but they recommend emptying it every 12 hours just for hygiene and safety purposes. That would be a long time to have like stale blood sitting inside your body, I guess. So, but yeah, I can easily go 12 hours without emptying it. And a lot of people ask, how do you empty it in a public bathroom? And since I only empty it every 12 hours, I've only had to empty it a handful of times in a public bathrooms, and I've been using these for about 2 years. So typically if I know that I'm going out and I'm going to be out for several hours, I'll just empty it at home right before I leave, and then I won't have to empty it. But of course, once in a while it happens. So basically you're just going to empty it, and when you take it out, it does not make a huge disaster. It's not like World War III in a public washroom. It's all super contained right in the thing. You dump it in the toilet, and then if I was at home, I would just rinse it off with cold water and then put it back in. So if you're in a public bathroom and that's not an option, you can totally just empty it out and put it back in. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean, as long as you're not doing that over and over and over again. But if you do that one time, that's totally okay. But if that makes you nervous, you can totally carry around some non-toxic baby wipes and just give it a little wipe down on the outside before putting it back in. And then I always like to keep mine a little bit wet when I'm inserting it, and that basically works as like a natural lubricant. Told you guys we're getting pretty personal today. And then just know that there is totally a learning curve that comes with using a menstrual cup. Of course, the period underwear are super easy to use. You just use them like underwear, but the period cup is a little bit different. It takes some practice. It takes some figuring out how to insert it, and there's different methods. You can watch entire videos dedicated to how to insert a menstrual cup, so I'm not going to go into that in detail, or this video is going to be like 4 hours long. I basically fold it like that. and then once it's in, it just opens up by itself. Like I said, there's tons of videos you can watch with different ways to insert it. That's what I do myself. But just know that it is a learning process. Lots of people don't get it first try. It took me a couple months to be super confident with it because you only use it for a few days and then you don't use it for several weeks, obviously. So if it takes you a month or 2 months or 6 months to be super confident with it, that's totally normal. Don't be discouraged and just keep trying it. Maybe try it when you're at home for the day. You can even practice with it when you're not on your period, or you can practice with it wearing a pad or wearing period underwear or something like that if you're nervous about it leaking. And then another thing that I really quickly want to note about the menstrual cup is if you go to take it out and you can't reach it, don't freak out. That happens to everybody also. It's because your cervix actually moves up and down throughout the day. So one option is to just wait an hour or two before taking it out and it'll probably come down by itself. Otherwise, just look up some videos about how to safely remove a menstrual cup. And again, I'm not going to go super in detail about this because I still want to cover some more products that I've tried, but just know that it is not going to get lost in your body. It will come back out. You might need to give it time, or you might need to try some other techniques, which you can totally find some other techniques on YouTube. There are people who have dozens of different videos all about menstrual cups. There's tons that you can learn. I promise it's not going to get lost. Okay, and then I just wanted to quickly cover one more product. These are reusable pads, and to be totally honest, I do not love these. I do think that they're a good option. Once in a while I'll use them if I'm just kind of not in the mood to put my menstrual cup in, especially if it's late at night and I'm tired and I don't feel like the period underwear are going to be enough. These are a good option, but to be honest, they kind of feel like you're wearing a diaper. So I'm sure that there are other brands of reusable period pads that are better than these. These were some from Amazon that I think were organic and had pretty good reviews. My favorite combination is definitely the salt period cup with the LILOVA period panties. This is what I would recommend, but I did want to just mention these because otherwise I'm sure someone will suggest that I try these. They're not the worst ever, but they are not my favorite. So I hope that that video was helpful and informative. Maybe you're a seasoned zero waste period person, or maybe this is all brand new information for you and you're just kind of dabbling in the idea of getting started with a menstrual cup or period panties. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys, and if you have any more questions about this, because I'm sure that there are things that I forgot to cover, definitely feel free to leave me a comment. I always read all my comments and I will try my best to respond to any comments or questions. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again in a few days. Everest, he really wants this. Yeah, you like eating those, don't you? No. You sit? Okay. I'm super excited to share today's video with you guys because